So to make this jig, all you need is half of a 2x4. This is a basic 2x4, about 48 inches long. The first cut you need to make is a measurement just a little bit longer than this side of the fence. For the jig, this 14-inch board will go right here. Now we need a board about to the end of this fence. You want this new board to butt up against the first board here, so be sure to measure from right here. I'm gonna cut this next board at about 15 inches. Now I have my 14-inch board and my 15-inch board to make a right angle. With the remaining 2x4, I'm gonna cut a 45-degree angle here and a 45-degree angle here to make a brace that runs from here to here. This will be about 12 inches long from the top to top of the 45-degree angle. Alright, so now we have 3 boards. A 15-inch board, a 14-inch board, and a 12-inch board from here to here. You want to take the 15-inch board and butt it up against this joint right here on this face. Like this. Then you want to attach these together. I'm going to use screws. It's a good idea to pre-drill this board so that it doesn't split when you put screws through the end. Put a clamp on this so that these boards will stay in place while you put screws in them. It is important to make sure this end is flush here. You don't want this board sticking out like that. So to strengthen this jig, we're gonna put this third board with the 45-degree angles right here as a brace. Go ahead and attach this on one side, but not the other side. So the reason we didn't attach this side yet is because we want this angle here to be exactly 90 degrees. That's pretty close, but this board here could go in just a little bit this way. So what you can do is force these boards to a 90-degree angle using clamps. To do that, put your square on the bottom. You can clamp in 2 different ways to influence these sides. First, at this joint here. As I clamp, this board slides that way. To get it to go the way I want, put a clamp here and pull across the whole jig. Now when I clamp, the board will go the other way and line up perfectly. And that is just about perfect. And go ahead and attach the brace on the other end. So to use the jig, you place it here up against the fence. You can slide this way or this way, depending on the width of what you're trying to cut. In order to make a cut, you want to first clamp this board to the fence, and I'm going to clamp this in 2 spots in case one would happen to slip. So this is how the clamps are positioned. You'll probably have to adjust this some and move the whole jig to the left or the right depending on what you're trying to cut. Next, you can go ahead and adjust the saw to the angle that you desire. Normally, when I put a taper on a leg, I cut it about an 8-degree angle. Be sure to use the lock if your saw has one so the angle doesn't slip on you. So this is what I'm trying to cut, and this is a leg for a kitchen table I'm building. I want to put this taper on the bottom here so that this piece comes in just a little bit on all 4 sides. After the saw is adjusted, you can put the workpiece on the saw. Now while the piece is just resting there, you can look at the blade and see how much you're going to cut off. I would be cutting way too much off of this. So I need to adjust the whole jig this way so I won't cut quite as much off of the bottom piece. So I'm pretty happy with how much that's going to take off. In order to make this cut safely, the workpiece needs to be securely clamped to the fence in at least 2 spots. These clamps should actually be so secure that you can lift the entire saw up by lifting the workpiece. All right, so here's my final setup before I make the cut. I've got my workpiece or the leg clamped to the jig in 2 spots, and I have the jig clamped to the miter fence also in 2 spots. You want to use at least 2 clamps for each in case either one of them slips or in case the board would try to rotate using only 1 clamp. I just want to mention that you absolutely have to use clamps to do this. If you try to hold the leg here without these clamps, rather than actually cut into the piece, the teeth on the blade are going to grab the wood and pull it upwards. This is going to kick upwards, and it's either going to tear up your workpiece or you're going to get hurt. You have to use clamps when you do this. Now that I have everything clamped secure, I can go ahead and make the first cut. So here's the piece after the cut. Now to do this on all 4 sides, all you have to do is unclamp the workpiece and rotate the leg. Now you'll make the exact same cut on this piece. And you'll have a nice taper on all 4 sides. And so this is what one looks like that has been cut. This one has not. Because if you have multiple legs to cut like this, leave the fence in the exact same position. That way it'll be in the same exact spot when you go to cut the next leg. So this is what the bottom of the legs look like after they're all cut. Have a nice taper to the bottom of this, and you can do this very easily. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching.